Momoshiki in chapter 78 said that from this moment onwards, Boruto will be losing everything rapidly. We know that the monster has pledged to take him over once he gets disheartened by destiny. So could it be that he's gonna temporarily become Boruto really soon? That will spark the Jougan to awaken. Let's figure out if it's actually plausible, along with a mind-blowing theory regarding Shibai or Sasukes at the end of this video. We'll also be untangling the role of Kawaki and Sasuke in this, so stay tuned. It's recently revealed that Kawaki, the former vessel of Ishiki, has been acting rebellious just like him. Ishiki's true goal was to do whatever it takes for resurrection, while Kawaki is also crossing his limits for the protection of Lord 7th. A similar analogy can be found in Momoshiki and Boruto's case, where the blue-eyed boy was a spoiled brat before getting the karma, as he used to take shortcuts to achieve his goals. A good example can be found in the Chunin exam arc, where he got deluded by Katasuke and used a scientific ninja tool to pass the exams. Momoshiki also was a spoiled privilege who recklessly devoured the planet at the end of the Chunin exam arc. This undeniable pattern could be a hint that the Otsutsuki and his vessel needs to follow the same ideology, fate or behavior as one another. Remember how Ishiki was only looking for children who were abused while conducting his karma experiment. It could be that he was also abused or kicked out of his clan, similar to how Kawaki was treated before meeting him. Also, Ishiki acted as the rebel, just like how Kawaki wants to bring in a revolution in the time skip. He also kept telling Kawaki that nothing can fill the hole in his heart. This could mean that he has also faced betrayal in his life and was using the hunt for power to relieve the emptiness in his heart. It could be that he loved Kaguya and her astronomical betrayal is what made him so stone-hearted. Hence we can assume that the Otsutsukis can only make someone their vessel who's just like them. However, in Boruto's case, his personality went through a complete makeover upon becoming Momoshiki's vessel. This was pretty obvious cause his fate followed some really interesting twists and turns, which were enough to trigger his downfall. He was chosen to wield the purest power of this clan for the Otsutsuki genetics that he luckily inherited. However, the entry of Momoshiki in his life changed everything for him. He became a threat to the whole village, and his own brother intended to take his life. The only hope that the boy has been left with is the divine power that he wields in his right eye. But in order to awaken that power, he might first have to surrender his consciousness to Momoshiki for a prolonged period of time, and here is why. This power of Boruto is known as the Pure Eye, which likely signifies its ability to purify the wielder from the curses and contaminations that he has suffered. Its awakening must be different than other dojutsu awakenings, since it directly comes from a being who's above the Otsutsukis. It's quite logical to believe that the manifestation of the Jougan could occur during Momoshiki's fated takeover, which she falsely believes is gonna be permanent. Back in chapter 72, Momoshiki tells Boruto that once he will take him over, the boy will tremble silently in a corner of his psyche forever. This could be taken as a mega hint in solving the mystery of Jougan's awakening. I mentioned last time that how the real life concept of the third eye and the Jougan are related. The counterpart of Pure Eye requires some deep meditation and visualization for the purpose of awakening. Assuming Boruto will require a similar amount of effort to awaken the Jougan, I don't think there is any better place for him to awaken the pure power related to the core of his consciousness, where he will be trapped after Momoshiki's takeover. He will get the chance to deeply meditate that he wouldn't have done otherwise. By this we can conclude Momoshiki's fated takeover is necessary for the Jougan's awakening, and it would be really great if his final form as Boruto would look something like this, cause the horn that the boy grows in his Otsutsuki form is way too similar to Shibai rather than Momoshiki himself, and I will get to that in a moment. Now let's jump into another big brain move of Momoshiki that he has made really wisely in the recent chapter. The act of saving Kawaki from the hands of Konoha has fulfilled more than a single purpose of the monster. First and foremost, he needs him for the 10 tails ritual, which cannot be done otherwise. Secondly, Momoshiki has to hijack Boruto's consciousness, which is impossible unless he loses everything. Kawaki plays a vital role in driving Boruto to despair and darkness, where he will be ultimately left with nothing. Before moving on to the final reason explaining why Momoshiki helped Kawaki, let's take a look at the glimpse of future where Kawaki seems to have done something horrible. I feel like this scene is happening in the next chapter, where Kawaki will try to escape the village and the Jogans will be sent after him. Team 7 and Team 10 will also follow him along with Sasuke. But then Kawaki would decide to land a fatal blow on Boruto. This is why Shikadai said that's not what a friend does, and he's apparently holding him with Shadow Paralysis Jutsu. Mitsuki on the other hand has been really angered and is about to teach Kawaki a good lesson. This might end up in the death of some prominent character, which is most likely Sasuke, and here is why I think so. In chapter 78, Kawaki did not hesitate to kill Sarada, who was becoming a hurdle in his plan of ensuring Naruto's safety. As far as I know, Kawaki has no idea idea about the bond that Naruto shares with Sasuke. So if he comes in his way of killing Boruto, he will certainly face an unsettling death. Before I go further and explain how Kashin Koji might also be related to this, let me tell you guys the final reason for which Momoshiki has helped Kawaki, and that is the threat of Code. Momoshiki knows that Code could sacrifice him to the Ten Tails cause he wants Kawaki dead. Demon and Kawaki are the only people in the village who could defeat Code and his army. So in order to keep himself on the safe side, he helped Kawaki from this binding situation as the leaf was too ignorant for the attack of Code while dealing with him. Now coming on to the fate of Sasuke in the flash forward scene, we already know that he's about to show his resolve, and this moment against Kawaki, who's endangering the entire shinobi world, could be his chance to fulfill his final duty. Sasuke could go against Kawaki and get fatally injured, and the reason I think he's not dead lies within a hidden detail of the time skip scene. Boruto can be seen using Sasuke's cape and sword in the time skip, but we shouldn't forget Kawaki has the ability to shrink non-living matter with Sukuna Hikona. So how was he able to utilize his sword even though Kawaki can easily shrink it? I think when Kawaki would heavily injure Sasuke, Kashin Koji could appear in the scene and seal his consciousness into the sword. Earlier people assumed the Sukuna Hikona wasn't a part of the storyline when the flash forward scene was created. However, now when we think of it, the events are lining up in a very good manner, and it doesn't feel like the whole plot was unfinished or incomplete when this scene was shown. Nevertheless, if Sasuke was dead, Boruto wouldn't have been able to stay strong during his time skip fight with Kawaki. He would have lost his temper completely, wanting to kill Kawaki in one way or another. But the way he's speaking to him in the time skip, it doesn't feel like things have worsened that much. Another great explanation that could help us to understand Boruto's condition with Momoshiki is demonic possession. When a person is taken over by a ghost in real life, he starts losing control of his body and becomes the medium for that entity to communicate with the real world. The only thing which gets a person out from the paranormal influence is exorcism, which involves a ritual or ceremony to remove the ghost from the possessed person's body. In other words, a person's firm belief in getting rid of their demons is what helps them to overcome these demonic possessions. Momoshiki's influence on Boruto can be seen as a form of diabolical possessions. The only way Boruto can stop the monster from possessing him could be a strong psychological willpower to move on from the deadly predictions of fate that the monster has made about him. Now, either it was the strong belief in his willpower that made him overcome Momoshiki's curse, or a really mind-blowing phenomenon with the god Otsutsuki himself. The Shibai theory that I'm about to tell you has been stated many times ever since the glimpse of future was shown, but the incident where Boruto got his scar before the spectacle has made this theory much more sensible. Earlier it was believed that Kawaki is gonna scar Boruto's eye in this sequence. However, the new hints are now suggesting the second death of Boruto happening in this sequence, which has angered Mitsuki and shocked the others. Upon dying by the hands of Kawaki for a second time, Boruto will meet the spirit of Shibai Otsutsuki, who will revive him by granting the Jogan in his right eye. This theory also makes sense because Kawaki doesn't want to kill Boruto anymore in the future. If Shibai's spirit actually appears to help Boruto, then I feel like he can make his sword alive by sealing Sasuke's consciousness in it as well. The same thing that I felt Koji would do in the previous theory. Talking about Kashin Koji, earlier I believed Boruto training under him would draw a parallel with the role of Jiraiya in Naruto's life, and now I have found another hint for this occurring that I'll be discussing in a future video. So subscribe to not miss it and check out these videos for more amazing Boruto stuff. I will see you next time.